Okay, now your dad went to prison for a long time for selling drugs. And then at one point you started selling drugs.
That's correct.
Was there a certain level of, my dad just did 10 years, maybe this is not something I want to get into myself?
No, that thought didn't even cross my mind. What had happened was playing basketball, that was my sport. Behind the back of the building, at Hazel Towers, that's where I grew up. And my friend Michael Sullivan pulls up, brand new Trans Am. And lo and behold, what's going on? He quit school. I'm still in school. And they said, here's what I'm doing. So him and I partnered up, and that's how I got the drug business.
That was cocaine?
Cocaine, yes, sir.
Okay, so now you start selling cocaine, but Big Ernie was, he had an issue with that.
Yes, he did. He asked me if I ever sell drugs, I can't, I have to distance myself with him.
Right.
But just always keep him in the loop if something happens to me, that he knows where and who.
Well, because the Mafia at certain points had certain rules about selling drugs. Was the Genovese really strict on that, or?
They're all strict on it, I would say, but when those envelopes start coming in, everybody overlooks it. They'll turn around and say, I don't want to know where the money's coming from, don't get caught. And that's it.
Okay, so you start selling drugs and you start getting into kilos. You start pushing about 2 to 3 kilos a week.
Yeah, we were pushing that a week loose in grams, half grams, ounces.
Aha.
We had an operation that we would open up maybe about 11 in the morning during the weekdays and then shut down about 1 at night. And then weekends, we would just stay open all night. And we had runners, we had locations. People would page us with certain codes, what they wanted, and a code for a location. We would have 4 meeting spots in the neighborhood.
Okay, so who's your plug for all the cocaine?
I was getting it from Harlem. I got drugs from Joey Cupcakes at times, his cousin James in Harlem, and then my Michael Sullivan was getting it from a guy called Raymond Shapiro, who wound up getting killed later on in life.
Okay, and how much were kilos going for back then?
Oh, it varied. At time, the average price, I would say 24 to 25, and then there was a shortage. It went up to like 35,000.
Okay, so pretty expensive, especially back then.
Yes.
That's the equivalent of, let's say, maybe 75,000 today.
Yeah,
right?
It was expensive back then.
Okay. Was there ever a situation, and this happens a lot in the cocaine game, where you get robbed, you get fake cocaine, you get double-crossed. Sometimes the addicts will set you up. A lot of things could happen. The police come and seize certain kilos.
Funny that you say that. In 1987, I had a motorcycle accident. I broke my femur. I came home from the hospital maybe about a week. I get a call one morning from Michael, and he lived right down the block. Come to my house. Come to my house now. I go to the house. He got robbed. He was handcuffed to the banister. He broke the banister. They called me. We took the cuffs off him. They took $180,000 out of his house.
Wow.
And back then, that was a nice piece of change. Come to find out, it was his girlfriend's uncle, the guy Raymond Shapiro. Raymond was upset that Michael stopped buying drugs from him because at that time I had my connections. We were getting a better price. So what we did, I found out where Raymond lived. We went out to New Jersey, and I was sitting on him, waiting for him to come out. We had a bogus car out there we were sitting in. I'm waiting for him by his house, and then Michael's like, no, I can't do it. I don't want to kill him. I was ready to kill him for Michael. That's how close we were. I got back in the car, and I was fuming. Especially I could barely walk, and I'm going to kill somebody for him. So Michael wound up hanging out all night with me, when we got back to the Bronx, and that was it. He overlooked that, but I would have never overlooked it. I would have if it was me, I would have definitely taken him out.
So you guys basically had to accept a $180,000 loss?
Well, he accepted $180,000. It was his money, not mine.
Got it. Because right around that time in Queens, there was a rookie cop named Edward Byrne who got killed. You know about the situation?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Well, Queens was going crazy with the whole drug dealing thing. And there was a guy named Pappy Mason who hated the cops. And there was an immigrant that kept calling the cops on drug dealers in front of his house. Pappy Mason sent a couple guys to basically kill him in front of the building. Once he got killed, it triggered national attention to the New York drug scene, to the point where George H.W. Bush, when he went on his campaign run, he would pull out Edward Byrne's badge. And that started to have a crackdown literally all around the country on the cocaine and crack sales and so forth. Did that have any effect on you at all?
No, actually in our neighborhood, back then, there was no DEA. It was only local law enforcement. So our neighborhood was basically under the radar.
Wow.
And then...
I'm sure there's a racism aspect to it as well. I'm sure like the black drug dealers were probably getting more heat than the Italian drug dealers.
Exactly.
Got it.